We know where Christine is.
You know where Christine is?
Yes.
Oh, you guys found her?
Yes.
Well, what about the baby?
Christine's dead.
No. What happened to her? What happened to her? ¿Cómo va a ser? No.
We're looking for
Your
son to shine the light on our situation that we're working with right now. We're investigating, so I'll let you know this. It's a homicide.
The man pictured to the bottom right of the screen here is 48-year-old Jose Morales. Police were at his parents' house, where Jose resided, to ask him some questions. Jose had been seeing 43-year-old Christine Holloway for around a year and a half before the relationship would begin to sour between the two. He was no Boy Scout, frequently in trouble with the law. His rap sheet would include charges for carrying a firearm without a permit, violating protective orders, and domestic violence. He had also been arrested several times for possessing and selling illicit substances, most notably PCP. Not only did he sell it, he was a frequent user also. The effects of this drug can include confusion, acute anxiety, hallucinations, paranoia, and can cause the user to become violent. Jose and Christine had started out like any couple, in a loving relationship where everything appeared to be perfect. After only a short time together, she would fall pregnant, and the couple would welcome baby Vanessa into the world. As time would pass, Christine began to take notice of how Jose's behavior would become more erratic, especially when he was using. She had come to the realization that this isn't the type of environment she wanted to bring her baby into. When she would sit down to talk with Jose about their relationship, it would end in a heated argument, which Christine would choose to walk out of and return to her apartment. Later that night, on the 23rd of November 2019, she would send a text message to Jose, simply stating, "I see how you feel about me." Jose would reply only a minute later with, "F you," and then again with, "This stupid relationship is done." Christine lived with her daughter in an apartment on Myrtle Avenue in Ansonia, Connecticut. Her residence was around 45 miles southwest of Hartford, where Jose lived with his mother and father. Because of the distance, he would often stay with them during the week and return to his parents' house on the weekend. Although Jose and Christine were having problems in their relationship, they would continue spending time together with their new daughter. This included time spent over a Thanksgiving Day weekend, even after the volatile texts had been exchanged between the two. They would enjoy a family meal and spend time watching football together. Family members at this Thanksgiving meal said they both looked happy. But sometimes things aren't as they seem. But nobody had any idea how terribly this could end. On the 1st of December 2019, Jose would show up to Christine's apartment unexpectedly. He was there for several hours, and what happened during that time, we will never know, as it was only himself, Christine, and his daughter Vanessa in the apartment. 911 operators would take a phone call at 1:52 a.m. from a man who sounded like he was disoriented and having a mental episode. The man on the other end of the line was Jose, and he claimed he was high on PCP. He told the operator that two men had come running towards the apartment like they were about to break in, and then he would hang up the phone. Jose would then call back a short time later, claiming that someone had punched him in the face and knocked him out. 911 dispatch would send officers to the apartment to check on the situation. They knocked on the door but received no answer. Upon checking the outside of the property, there was no obvious damage or broken windows, or anything to suggest a crime had taken place. Officers would leave the property, figuring it may have been a prank call. The following day, Christine's brother Steve and Jody would arrive at Christine's apartment for lunch that they had agreed to have with her several days earlier. They would also knock on the door and get no reply. Christine was also not responding to text messages or phone calls. Her car was at the house, which made them begin to worry, because if she would have gone somewhere, she would have taken her car. They would head to Jose's parents' house to ask him if he had seen Christine, and he would claim that he hadn't. At this point, they would call police to launch a missing persons report and then head back to the apartment. Officers would again arrive on scene, and for a second time they would find nothing out of the ordinary and would leave after only a few minutes. Later that night, Christine's family, who were as equally concerned for her and her daughter, would call police and have them attend for a third time. Lieutenant Alex Bedita and Officer Brendan Nelson would arrive at around 8:15 p.m. and decide to make entry to the house, not knowing if Christine may have suffered a medical episode. As they began to clear the house, they would notice that there was a crib in the living area that was empty and appeared that the sheets had been removed. Officer Nelson would walk down the hallway, clearing room by room, when he would make his way to the bathroom. Inside, he made a devastating discovery as he came across Christine's lifeless body in the bathtub. There appeared to be organs, leaves, bone fragments which appeared to be from a skull, and metal shavings in the tub, along with Christine. Crime scene investigators would arrive immediately to process the scene and collect evidence. Amongst some of the items collected were blood-stained towels and a bath mat which was covered in blood and thrown into the washing machine. Officers would canvass the area, and neighbors would claim that they had seen Jose leaving the apartment earlier on in the day. This is when they would decide to go to Jose's parents' house to pay him a visit and get some answers.
We know where Christine is.
You know what Christine is?
Yes.
Oh, you guys found her?
Yes.
What about the baby?
Christine's dead.
No, ¿cómo va a ser? What happened to her? What happened to her? ¿Cómo va a ser? ¿Cómo va a ser? No.
We're looking for
Christine is dead.
your son to shine the light on our situation that we're working with right now. We're investigating, so I'll let you know this, it's a homicide.
Oh my God.
We are looking for all the help we can get.
Where you found her?
She's at her apartment.
In her apartment? Oh my God.
So we can't find the car that he says she's always driving. But we know where the car is that you say that she's driving.
The new one?
Yeah. What's up?
When I asked you about her buying a new car, you said you knew nothing about it.
No, I know about it.
Well, why did you say you didn't know anything
I
about it?
know about it.
First time buyers.
What? She bought a car. She bought a car. Just
So, Jose, where you was today?
Jose, we also just took your car.
the car is gone.
Yep.
I don't know. What you want me to come up with an idea, make something up?
What happened to
What you want me to think?
What happened
What
to
you want me to say? To just invent a situation? I don't know.
What were you
You
doing?
guys have to break the door in there to get in? You broke the door to get in?
Why don't you tell us the story if you want to say something to your mother?
I don't know how you got.
You was in her house all day?
I don't know.
What you mean you don't know? She wasn't there. Where you was there?
I was at Hector.
When?
How does he not know where he was yesterday? It's not even 24 hours later. How does he not know that?
I say I was at my boy's Hector.
No, you weren't, because you were leaving the house at 1:49.
We have him on video leaving the house, and we also have a
On
witness saying
video?
he was there.
Today?
On video.
Monday.
One
Monday.
day, 2 days, Tuesday.
Yeah,
So-
I was trying to tell you I can invent a scenario.
What happened to
You want me to
Christine?
invent something? You want me to come up with ideas and then give you information that I don't know? That's what you want. That's what you guys ask.
No. I mean, you can do whatever you want. You can.
There's nothing that I can tell you. I don't know.
You say you have to
What
do something.
information you want? Obviously, something did happen.
Were they in a serious relationship? Were they in a serious relationship?
Yeah.
Well, he said it was.
Oh, we wasn't in a serious relationship.
But he's gonna say you were.
I was at his house. I was at
on
with
Monday.
him. I was with him.
On Monday.
The weekend.
No, Monday.
Well, you just said you were with Hector on Monday. You said I don't remember what I was doing on Monday.
I was with
now
Hector
I'm with
the
Hector.
weekend. The weekend.
What about Monday? They're asking about Monday.
Listen, you don't have to answer. You can do whatever you want. You can leave.
I'm not a clear-minded person.
Okay, I can understand that. You have a lot of stress in your life.
Yeah, I have no job.
Okay, so
I'm broke.
You
I
got-
live with my parents and my kids.
and you got 3 kids, and you're trying to support the 3 kids.
I can't.
Yeah, it's not easy. That is not easy. Yeah, and you should be the one supporting your parents, but you can't right now because that's how hard it is. And you just lost your job a few months ago. I understand all that. You know, that puts people in the wrong mindset.
No,
Right.
it's not.
No,
He does. Yeah, he does. He put people in the butt.
sometimes you don't think clearly about things,
Exactly.
right? You know, and
No, I FaceTime you from Hector's house, make you believe that I was with her. Did you see her? Did you see anything in the background? You saw my face on FaceTime. I was making you believe that I was at Christine, but because I didn't want you to think that I'm out with my friend partying.
so what were you FaceTiming with? What phone were you FaceTiming with?
With Hector's.
Do you have your phone?
Yeah.
All right, so then you should have Hector's
No.
contact. You should have Hector's contact for
No.
that.
I was FaceTiming with the.
Whoops.
Christine.
Is that iPad?
Yeah, that's I say it is not.
It's downstairs. Well, how was he? So he was FaceTiming from the house here?
No, because he take it when you go to Christine.
But that's not Hector's number.
No.
number.
Not Hector. I was FaceTiming my mom.
With Hector's phone, you said?
No, not with his phone. With my iPad.
Police still didn't have enough evidence at this point to arrest Jose Morales. During further questioning that night at his parents' house, he would claim that he had nothing to do with Christine's death or the disappearance of his daughter Vanessa. He would admit that he was there when Christine was killed, but was so high on PCP that he was in a complete daze from the drug. Jose made the statement that he heard screams from the other room, and when he went to go and investigate, 2 male intruders were in the apartment attacking Christine with a crowbar. When he looked at Christine, he could tell she was already dead, and then the 2 men saw him and then began attacking him. He was queried as to what they looked like, which he replied that he was too high to remember, but did recall that they said they were taking Vanessa, and if he called the cops, they would come back and kill him. When they would check Jose for injuries, he would have scratches and bruising on his neck, hands, and arms, but none of it appeared to be consistent with what you would expect from being assaulted with a crowbar. Instead, they looked like injuries someone would inflict if they were trying to defend themselves from Jose. They would now turn their attention to finding Vanessa, and an Amber Alert would be sent out to be on the lookout for the young girl. While a huge effort to find Vanessa was being undertaken, Jose would be taken back to the police station for further questioning.
All right. Jose, what's your last name? Morales?
Yeah.
Even though the door is kind of closed, I mean, you're free to leave. We brought you here to talk to you. I understand you're...
I'm free to leave. Where am I gonna walk all the way home?
No, we'll give you a ride. I'm just saying you're not held captive here. I'm not like... You're
So
not
why what I came here for?
to talk to you.
About what?
We're trying to find Christine and your kid.
All right, that's exactly what I've been trying to call her too.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So that,
We're in the same page.
okay, good. I'd rather have it that way. When's the last time you talked to her?
I talked to her, I think it was Monday morning when she was going to work.
So that was yesterday morning, Monday. About what time?
Early in the morning.
Okay. So that was talking on the phone or in person? Face to face?
phone.
On the phone. Did she say anything? Was there a problem? Was there any kind of issue? No argue?
No,
Did you hear anything in the background?
I didn't hear nothing.
She didn't sound like she was having any problems? Did she sound different than your normal conversations?
Well, it was super fast. It's like she couldn't be on the phone. That kind of got me like she didn't want to stay on the phone. Like I called her, she didn't want to stay on the phone at all.
But just giving you short answers and trying
Like
to...
quick, I probably spoke to her for less than a minute, probably. Quick.
And that's not normal?
That's not normal. Well, it is and it isn't, because sometimes we sleep for a while, sometimes it was early in the morning, so.
Okay. Did you stay over there this weekend?
No.
You didn't stay over there this weekend?
No.
Do you normally stay over there during the weekend?
Sometimes I do, yeah. Not normally, but sometimes I stay over.
All right. So when's the last time you saw her in person?
Friday,
And where was that?
at my house.
At
Over
your
there
house?
where you picked me up, yeah.
She was there?
Yeah.
Okay, with Vanessa?
Yeah.
Okay. And so you left, so it was Friday, you were with her
Yes.
and Vanessa.
She came over to our house.
She came to visit you.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
she drove?
Yeah.
Was-
No, wait. Thanksgiving Eve,
That's Thursday.
Thursday,
Yeah.
Thanksgiving Eve,
Yep.
she came over and she slept over my house. Her and Vanessa.
She slept over. Okay.
Wednesday. Wait up, let me get that right. Wednesday, after work, Wednesday she got out of work around 3. She had an early day.
So Wednesday out at 3.
Yeah, so I said to her, pack a lot of stuff
Yeah.
and come over, because my mom said they can stay over
Yeah.
for Thanksgiving holiday, whatever.
Okay.
So to spend Thanksgiving. So she came over with Vanessa from work, directly from work. She packed the car. She came over with Vanessa directly from work. And she slept over.
So Wednesday night she slept over.
Yeah.
So Thursday she hangs
slept
out.
over too.
She hangs out with you guys Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And then when does she leave?
Friday.
So she slept over again.
She slept over until Friday. Not from Friday to Saturday.
Right.
From
She slept
Thursday
over.
to Friday.
So Wednesday to Thursday, Thursday to Friday.
Exactly.
And then when did she leave on Friday?
Probably around, I'm not sure. Somewhere in the afternoon, around 6, I think.
So at night, evening, like around dinner time?
Yeah.
All right. Did she leave by herself?
Yeah. With Vanessa.
With Vanessa.
Yeah.
And you're assuming she went home.
Exactly. I assume it, yeah. What else could she do?
I have no idea. I don't know where she goes.
All
Where
right,
she
yeah.
goes.
Does she have any friends that she hangs out with?
Not that well, we are boyfriend, girlfriend.
You guys are.
Yeah, but we're not that close either. Because she got her own place, she do her own life, she got her own apartment. When she got this apartment over here, she asked me if I can help her out, like, with the lease, because I guess the landlord over here, they want to give it to her by herself. So she said, could you help? Because I had a good job at the time. That's what happened. I had a good job at the time. He said, can you help us and with the lease? And I said, okay. I signed the paper. She gave me some paper. I signed. I said, okay. So she got an apartment. Because she was leaving. She used to live with her brother Steven and Shelton. That's where she lived for like 3 years. She was living there when we met. Before that, she lived in Bridgeport. Then, when she got pregnant, we was dating when she was living with Steven over there, but Steven and then were being to her, whatever. When, right before the baby was about to be born, Steven said, you gotta leave. He kicked her out. I don't want to hear babies crying in my house, this and that. Because she was a roommate type of thing, you know, she'd give her half. But now Steven had a new girlfriend. The reason she moved in with Steven was because she was helping him pay the rent. But then he got a girlfriend that was helping him, so now she became a third wheel. So then the baby, so you know, so she said, you gotta move out. So she started looking for an apartment. I said, look for an apartment. She started looking for an apartment, so she found this apartment in somewhere around here in Sutton. No, not in Sutton, in Sutton.
Where is it the same apartment she's in, right?
Yeah, that's where she found that apartment. So, that's it, yeah.
So make sure I got this right. She left your house or your parents' house on Friday.
Yeah.
With Vanessa.
Yeah.
And you didn't go with her?
No.
So where did you stay over the weekend?
I stayed with my friend Hector.
Hector.
He lives in East Haven.
East Haven. What's Hector's last name?
I don't know.
Her last name. You know where he lives in East Haven? Does he know you're Christine? Or he has no idea?
Christine.
So he has no idea who Christine is?
No. He knows I got a girlfriend, that's it.
Christine, your only girlfriend? Or you have other girlfriends? Does she have other boyfriends?
We're not that close.
Right.
It's like, we have a baby.
Yeah.
Well, it's not like she my girlfriend. We say that, we use that word very lightly.
Yeah.
But we have a baby together. That it happened. So I guess I'm assuming a little bit of responsibility by helping her out a little bit.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, so we in love with the baby. So we let her come over and stay over our house and holidays and things like that for see the baby.
So you do all that for Vanessa? You don't
Yeah,
it's not for Christine?
It's not for Christine, it's for Vanessa. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So your family likes Vanessa?
We love Vanessa, yeah. We really don't like Christine. She said she okay, you know, but it's all right. That's it.
All right.
We love Vanessa.
I mean, do you have any idea where she could be?
No.
Zero.
So
No idea where a 1-year-old would be.
Vanessa?
Yeah.
No.
I mean, Christine is an adult, so I mean, I'm more concerned
Well,
about
Christine is with Vanessa. I figured.
Okay. I'm saying an adult's an adult. They can come and go and do whatever they want.
Yeah.
A 1-year-old's at the mercy of whoever's with them.
Yeah. Well, they left together.
What do you mean they left together?
Well, Christine took Vanessa with her on Friday.
On Friday?
Yeah.
So were you at the house at all this weekend? Her house, Christine's.
Not the whole weekend.
You didn't go there to pick anything up, drop anything off?
On.
Listen.
Yeah. Listen.
Yeah.
Listen what?
Your dad said you went to Christine's Friday with her. Why would he tell me that?
He said that I went to Christine.
Yes.
Probably that's why he thought I was.
Why would you? You said you told him where you went, and if you told him you went to Hector's,
She
you
got
wouldn't
her
tell
own.
me.
She got her own car.
Right, but why would he tell me that you went to Christine's if you told him where you went?
Why would he tell? He probably assumed.
No, you said you told him where you went.
I told who, my father?
Yeah, you just told me. You said you told him where you went.
I told my father where I went.
Yeah, that's what you told me, and that's why I said, why did he tell me you went to Christine's if you didn't?
I told my father that I went to Christine.
That's what you just told me about 30 seconds ago.
I'm not sure. You're missing my words. You wrote that down?
So you said that you told your father where you went, and you telling us you went to Hector's, right?
Yeah,
That's what you told
what
us.
I went to
Yeah.
Hector's.
Yeah. So you.
I didn't.
told,
Wait. I didn't tell my father when I went to Hector.
Yeah.
That's where I went.
And when Detective Atkins asked you if you told your father where you went, you said yes. There's a.
Well, it's a whole mixed understanding right there.
All right. So how did Christine get to your house on Wednesday?
She drove
Okay. In what kind of car?
in her car. I'm not sure.
You don't know what kind of car she has?
Mazda Protege.
I'm not sure. What color is it?
Goldish light.
Did you buy a new car? It's not a trick question. Just asking, do you know if she bought a new car?
I'm not sure. I don't know.
Well, how does your dad know
He knows what.
that she bought a new car?
Well, I guess she
Your
bought
dad
a-
knows a lot of stuff.
I guess she bought a new car.
But, did you know she bought a new car?
I think she did. Yeah, I think she bought a new car.
All right.
I know. Since I know her, she had the same car. I think she bought a new car.
So how did you get to Hector's?
In my car.
What car is that?
A Nissan
Nissan what?
Sentra.
Is it registered to you?
Mm-hmm.
So you drove to Hector's.
And that's it. And I hung out with Hector.
So how are you going to help us find Vanessa? I mean, that's what you're here for, to help us find Vanessa. We want to find a 1-year-old, and we need your
I
help.
want to find her too.
Well, we need your help. That's the only reason we brought you here.
Did you call the police when Steve came to your house and said Vanessa and what do you call her?
Steve called her. Steve called the police right there.
Okay.
He was right there. He was
So he's the uncle though, right?
He's the uncle. He's the one that kicked Christine out.
Are you 100% sure that Vanessa is your kid?
I didn't have no DNA test, but I assume so, yeah.
What was that?
I didn't have a DNA test, but I assume she's my kid, yeah.
Okay. I mean, because if someone came to my house and said Vanessa's missing and it's my 1-year-old daughter.
I'm worried. That's why I keep trying to call my kids. We keep
Jose, the
trying-
whole right here, you talked about everything but her. The whole right here, you didn't talk about a 1-year-old daughter that's missing. I don't get that.
That's my daughter.
Yeah, we want to find her.
All right.
And the only reason you're here
Is to find her.
is to help us find her.
All right, so let's find
So
her.
where is she?
I don't know. She's
You
with
have no
Christine.
I feel like you don't want to give us any information. Your father's given us more information that you're willing. And
She's
you
with Christine. All I
you would know every single piece of information that your father would know.
She's with Christine. That's all I know.
Christine's a big girl. I'm not worried about Christine. I'm worried about a 1-year-old that has no control over her life. 0. That's who I want to find.
All right.
Not 40-year-old Christine or however old she is. I'm here to find your daughter.
Okay, let's find
And like I
her.
said, I find it absolutely bizarre that the whole right here.
So what do you think? That I have my daughter hidden somewhere?
I don't know. I'm asking you for help to find her. I don't know. You have no idea where she could be, nor did you even really talk about it on the whole ride.
So let's talk about her then.
Do you have your daughter?
Do you know where your daughter is?
No, I don't know. My daughter is with Christine.
You were at the house Monday, leaving. Where's your daughter?
All right, boys.
Yes.
Now we can go.
We can go. Are you going to bring us? I told him the reason he's here is because somebody saw him leaving the house Monday.
Yeah. Hold on a second. Hold on. You are going, but is he bringing us somewhere?
I don't know. Where do you want to bring us?
No, you guys taking me home.
Yeah, we're taking you home, but we're taking your clothes first.
Why? You're gonna strip me naked?
No, but we're gonna give you a tie-back suit to wear home.
Huh? You're gonna give me a what?
A tie-back suit to wear home.
A tie bag?
A tie-back suit.
What's that?
I'll show you in a second when he brings it in here.
Jose had claimed that he spent much of the morning in the bathroom because he couldn't bear to look at the grisly scene. He did admit to investigators that he had gone to a nearby Shell gas station where he purchased some cigars. In the footage, you can see Jose appears to be very calm and relaxed and doesn't seem to be adversely affected by narcotics. When they would check the footage throughout the day at the gas station, they were stunned to see Jose had made the same trip several times to purchase cigars over a several-hour period. Detectives would door knock adjoining apartments, and they would speak to Christine's landlord, who would claim that in the early hours of December the 2nd, he heard what sounded like a hammer banging and furniture being dragged around inside of Christine's apartment. Another neighbor would also check his security camera footage, and that footage would show Jose leaving Christine's apartment 30 minutes after the first officers had come to perform a check. That would have meant when police knocked on the door that Jose would have been inside next to Christine's lifeless body. More evidence would come in when some blood-stained toys that were left at a donation bin at a nearby church were turned over to police. Christine's murder and Vanessa's disappearance had been broadcast over every local news station, and the surrounding community were very aware of the situation. And the local charity had reason to believe that these items could be connected. When the charity would search through further donations, they would discover a bag that was full of bloody rags, which also contained a letter that was addressed to Christine. A child's left croc shoe that was used for painting was also discovered. The other matching right shoe would later be discovered inside of Christine's apartment. Tests performed on the rags would confirm that the blood belonged to Christine. A smoking gun moment would come when footage was obtained showing Jose stuffing these items into the donation bin. Over 3 months after Christine's murder, on February the 7th, 2020, Jose Morales would be arrested and charged with first-degree murder and tampering with evidence to cover up a crime. He would be detained on a $7.5 million bond, awaiting his trial to begin. The case against him was strong, and the evidence overwhelming, so it came as a surprise to everyone when the prosecution started offering a plea deal to Jose. Christine's murder appeared to have all of the questions answered, but Vanessa was still missing, and both the Holloway and the Morales family wanted to know where she was. Both families had agreed to the plea deal in hopes that the young girl could be found. While they all prayed that she would return safe and well, they were also prepared for the worst outcome. The plea deal would eventually be taken off the table when the prosecution and defense could not agree on terms of the deal. Over 5 years after Jose was arrested, his trial would begin on April the 7th, 2025. Prosecutors had claimed that the video evidence and timeline showed that Jose had battered Christine to death in the early hours of the morning and then made several trips back and forth over the next 36 hours to dispose of various evidence. The jury was shown crime scene images of the apartment and of Christine, which highlighted the depravity of the individual who committed this crime. Several officers who attended the scene would be called in as witnesses in the trial to give their version of events.
And where did you go?
I went to 105 First Avenue in New Haven.
And what was at 105 First Avenue in New Haven?
We believe that's where Jose Morales lived.
And what was the purpose of going to 105 First Avenue?
Well, we were unsure of where Vanessa Morales was, so we're trying to locate her, and we assumed that he would be the next logical person to speak to since he was the father of Vanessa Morales.
Do you know what time it was when you arrived, I'm sorry, at 105 First Street?
It was sometime after 3, maybe 3:45 in the morning.
So 3:45 a.m.
A.m.
And when you arrived at the scene, were you by yourself or were you with other people?
There was already some detective already on scene there, and I went with Detective Adcox when we also had some New Haven officers that were also on scene with us.
Did you make contact with individuals in the house?
Yes, we did.
And did there come a point in time where you were able to engage with Jose Morales?
Yes.
And the person that you engaged with that evening, do you see him sitting here in the courtroom today?
Yes, I do.
And can you please just point to where you see him seated and tell us what you see him wearing?
He's sitting right over there.
That he identified the defendant, Your Honor.
All right, court will note for the record the witness identified the defendant, Jose Morales.
He pointed at him for the record.
Thank you.
Did you explain to Mr. Morales why you wanted to speak to him at
Yes.
the Ansonia Police Department?
Yes.
And what did you say to him?
That we were looking for Vanessa.
Now, with regard to, by that point in time, were you aware of the death of Christine Holloway?
Yes.
Did you tell Mr. Morales at that time that you were aware of the death of Christine Holloway?
No.
At the time, did you ask Mr. Morales to voluntarily accompany you back to the Ansonia Police Department?
Yes, we did.
And did he agree to go back to the Ansonia Police Department to talk with you?
Yes.
And how did there come a point in time that you left 105 First Avenue with Mr. Morales?
Yes.
Did there come a point in time at all that Detective Adcox expressed frustration with regard to driving the car that you guys were in?
Yes.
And what was the cause of the frustration?
We were stopped at a light, and the light seemed to be taking a long period of time, and he was frustrated at the length of time it was taking for it to change to green.
And did he express that frustration somehow to the people in the car?
Yes.
And did Mr. Morales at that point in time offer a solution to Detective Adcox's frustration?
Yes, he told Detective Adcox, if you roll up a little bit more, maybe you can trip the light and cause it to turn green.
So at that time, during this trip, did Mr. Morales at any time bring up Vanessa or Christine Holloway?
He brought it up very minimally. We didn't talk about it that much.
Do you remember any of the other substantive conversations that Mr. Morales brought up in this trip to the Ansonia Police Department?
We talked about the car that we was driving in, talked about our cell phones, talked about my rank, some other stuff.
I'm sorry, so who brought up the issue of the cell phone?
I don't remember.
Who brought up the discussion about the car that you were driving in?
I think he referred to us as it was a nice car that we were in, and he asked us if it was our personal vehicle.
At this point, I could see that there was lights on inside that residence. Again, I yelled out, "Police Department," and then began to kick the door until entry was made.
And were you able to make entry?
Yes, I was.
Once you were inside, tell us what happened next.
Well, once we were inside, we realized it was a studio-style apartment with a open floor plan. It wasn't very big. It was essentially the same size as the three-car garage beneath. I proceeded to go in first. Officer Nelson followed behind. When I proceeded straight through, Officer Nelson went to my left. Directly on my right-hand side, I observed a crib and a rocking chair. When I shined my light inside that crib, I noticed there was no sheets or bedding on that crib. I proceeded to go into the living room where I noticed the ceiling fan was left on and it was set at high. I continued into the bedroom of that residence and noticed again that bed had no sheets or blankets on it. At this point, Officer Nelson, I could hear yell something to the effect of, "Oh shit, oh fuck," and it was coming from the bathroom area. At this point, I immediately proceeded to the bathroom. When I walked into the bathroom, I noticed in the tub a pale, naked female body laying in there. Next to her was what appeared to be a human internal organ, now laying outside her body next to her in the tub. Her hands were also covered with what appeared to be dry blood.
An expert doctor would be called in to explain to the court on how the use of PCP affects the brain and the person who consumes it.
Doctor, can you tell the ladies and gentlemen jury what is PCP?
Yeah, PCP is a very dangerous drug. It's a controlled substance.
Okay. Now, if you know, how was PCP originally developed for what use?
Yep, so it was originally developed back in the 1950s, and it was used mostly in veterinary medicine.
Okay. And was it an anesthetic for the animals in veterinary medicine?
Yes.
Okay. And just tell us what an anesthetic is.
So technically it was called a dissociative. It's been classified or referred to in the research as a dissociative anesthetic, which is basically a substance that basically numbs the nervous system and changes the nervous system, has effects on perception, things of that nature.
Doctor, can the ingestion of PCP cause mind-altering effects?
Yes.
Okay. In what degree?
So this particular controlled substance is well known for causing mind-altering effects, very harsh mind-altering effects, breaks in reality, loss of perceptual functioning, meaning using your perceptions, your senses accurately, correctly. And
could you give us an example? I don't mean to interrupt. Could you give us an example of that?
So some of these distortions and breaks in reality that are a consequence of PCP ingestion include things like delusions. Delusions are false beliefs. It also includes symptoms like hallucinations, seeing things or hearing things that are not real. And those are essentially what we typically would see in individuals that suffer from a psychiatric illness called schizophrenia, which we broadly refer to as psychosis. So you may hear the word psychosis or a psychotic break. Those are the kinds of symptoms associated with the illness schizophrenia. But with respect to the PCP substance, those symptoms emerge when people take and ingest PCP. So PCP affects the auditory ability, essentially like I was describing before. It causes hallucinations, meaning hearing things that aren't real, that aren't actually present in that moment. So that is an example of a break with reality. Reality is what's happening in front of you.
The defense would call Jose Morales to the stand, which was a risky maneuver considering the huge amount of physical and forensic evidence against him.
Now, I just want to orient your time, okay?
Okay.
After you had gone to the Shell gas station and the donation pins, you told us you went back to 6.5 Myrtle.
I did.
Okay. Tell the ladies and gentlemen in the jury what you did at 6.5 Myrtle after that.
I went inside the apartment and I locked myself in the bathroom.
Why?
I just couldn't bear to see what was in the hallway.
Okay. What was in the hallway?
Christine.
Okay. And what did you do next?
I smoked the Black and Mild that I had purchased from the gas station in the bathroom.
Okay. And did you use PCP at that time?
No.
Your Honor, bleeding.
Sustained.
Okay. You were in the bathroom, okay, and what happened next?
I smoked the. I was scared to leave the bathroom.
Objections not responsive.
Well, I'll overrule it. You can.
Tell us in your own. Sorry, I'm sorry.
Sorry, you can go ahead.
You can answer.
So I stood in the bathroom. I smoked the Black and Mild. The Black and Mild had a really bad odor to it, so I lit one of the candles that was in the bathroom and I cracked the skylight window to get the smoke out of there. And I was just there for like 2 hours. I was feeling extremely sad, and the way that Christine was looking in the hallway. So I didn't want nobody to see her like that. So I left the bathroom. I gathered myself up. I left the bathroom, went into the hallway, and I grabbed Christine. And before I left the bathroom, the idea was to bring Christine and put her in the tub. I grabbed the curtain. I flipped it over, the pole. I went into the hallway. I gently grabbed Christine and I placed it in the tub. Once I did that, I closed the bathroom door, and now I'm inside the apartment, and I see the blood all over the hallway floor and by the door entrance. And I went and I grabbed the bucket from under the sink with towels, and I filled it up halfway, almost more than halfway. And I started cleaning because when I was walking around, I have left footprints from the blood in the carpet. So I started just cleaning the blood that was on the tiles, and I cleaned it up with the bucket, and I was dumping the water from the bucket into the garbage disposal. So as I was cleaning the floor, it was garbage. It was whatever was on all over the area, whatever I was scooping up from the floor, I was dumping it into the garbage disposal.
Did you do anything in regard to Christine Holloway on Monday, December 2nd?
I did.
Just tell us exactly what you did.
Well, I wanted to dress her. So when I first put her in the tub, there was items of clothing that was still under her when I carried her to the tub. So I wanted to dress her, so I pushed her forward a little bit, and I took them items of dressing from the back of her. I took them out and put them on the floor of the bathroom. And then she had a pajama pant on and a tank top. There was no underclothes. So I took because they were all bloody, and I felt sad and I wanted to put different clothes on her. I took the pajama pants off. I had a little problem taking the tank top, so it was like this, and I was able to take it out. And then I took that clothes and I put it in the washing machine.
Okay. And did you engage the washing machine at that
I
point?
did.
And then just tell us, in regard to the clothes, did you do anything else with the clothes?
Well, once the clothes was washed, I just folded it and I put it in the drawer.
In what drawer?
In the dresser.
In Christine's dresser?
Yes.
Okay.
Jose's testimony on the stand didn't exactly paint him in the best light, as it looked as though his actions were that of a person trying to cover up a crime. The trial would go on for over 2 weeks, with over 200 items of evidence presented against Jose Morales. Edward Gavin, Jose's defense lawyer, would argue that he could not be convicted because he was under the influence of PCP, and that meant he could not have knowingly formed intent to commit the murder. The prosecution would rebut that claim, saying that being under the influence of a substance doesn't mean that intent can't be present. Prosecutors would also bring to light the many changes and inconsistencies in Jose's story, and that his version of events was not credible. They called for a common sense approach and to let the evidence guide them in their decision. The jury would retire to deliberate, but after only an hour, they would be sent home, as it was already late in the evening. They would reconvene the following morning to deliberate if Jose Morales was guilty or not guilty. It would take them only 2 hours to reach a unanimous verdict. Jose couldn't bear to listen to the verdict, closing his eyes as his fate was read out.
State of Connecticut v. Jose Morales, docket number AAN CR 20-018-6660T. Has the jury unanimously agreed upon a verdict?
It has.
In docket number AAN CR 20-018-6660T, in the first count of the amended information charging the defendant Jose Morales with the crime of murder, in violation of Section 53A-54A of the Connecticut General Statutes, how do you find the defendant as to the crime of murder?
Guilty.
In docket number AAN CR 20-018-6660T, in the second count of the amended information charging the defendant, Jose Morales, with the crime of tampering with physical evidence in violation of Section 53A-155 of the Connecticut General Statutes, how do you find the defendant as to the crime of tampering with physical evidence? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
A cheer would echo across the courtroom, but that would quickly dissipate as Christine's brother Steve yelled out, "Where's Vanessa?" Jose Morales would be led out of the court in handcuffs, refusing to make eye contact with any of the family members. He will be sentenced in early July this year for the first-degree murder charge he was convicted of. Connecticut does not have the death penalty, so it is likely he will spend the remainder of his life behind bars. To this day, Vanessa has yet to be located, and Jose refuses to provide any information about her whereabouts. The FBI currently has a $10,000 cash reward for information that leads to her recovery. A photo was also shared with the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, which shows what Vanessa may look like today. It's our hope that the families that have had to deal with such tragedy might finally get some closure on this terrible situation. If you found this case compelling, help us out by liking the video and subscribing to the channel so you don't miss our next deep dive into shocking true crime cases. Channel memberships with extended perks, such as members-only videos or early video releases, are also available by hitting the Join button. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in our next video.